Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome back to Chris with the C. Hope you're all doing well. Guys, Tekno MT410 2.0 Bag C. This is the follow-on from the build and obviously the reveal. We're now going to start putting the differentials together. I'm going to be following the instructions as we go along. If I find anything or anything I feel that you guys need to know, I will let you know obviously as we're going along. I am enjoying a nice cold beer because it is a Friday night here in the UK, and you got something nice to vape on and just chilling. I'm in my element here, guys. I'm really enjoying this build so far. So I'm going to be following the instructions. Let's just quickly open the bag. Again, as I always say, massive thank you to each and every one of you obviously watching all the videos at the moment, all the likes, shares and subscribes. I really do appreciate it. Guys, we're on our way to 2,600 subs. I really would appreciate it if you hit the subscribe button, hit the like, all the group participation in the comments. I really do appreciate it. Right, okay, so obviously you've got your differential case here. I believe this is the front gearbox we're about to build up now. Machine quality looks really nice, no rough edges, nothing bad to mention there at all. So yeah, and then obviously your cover for the front of the diff, which will go on like so. Alright, everything's really well made. The plastics I'm very fond of. I've got a slight mark there, a little bit of a mark here, so when I put it together I might just trim that a little bit off there. But anyway, shock tower as you can see, and we have got some shims, screws. You've got your input gear and the bottom. Oh, it's sealed diff cases, guys. Well, that's interesting. So they're actually sealed diff cases. Well, I like that. That's cool. Do you know what? Well, I was only talking about this on chat the other day with my friends at Panside. We were mentioning about sealed diff gears. I really like that idea. So yeah, that'll keep obviously a lot of the rubbish out of there. Okay, so first things first, let's get the parts out and into my little tray here. Now, a lot of people of you may ask why I use one of these trays. It's basically so I know what's what, guys. Now, the reason why I use ice cube trays is because it's nice and deep. I tell you what, I'll put the shims on there. Screws can all go to one place. Tell you what, let's do it this way. Screws can go to one place, nuts can go to another. Yeah, I've got a little grub screw there as well, the looks and things. And a very small shim there, actually. Two little hex screws as well, look like 1.5s. Okay, so that's one. Open this parts bag as well. Okay, so we've got standoffs, output drive, two bearings, and I like to get everything. It's quite substantial actually, the input gear. Very nice. Output drive, diff cover, and standoffs. Okay. So step one is actually putting, so it looks like we're actually putting the output, you've got a shim, a bearing, and then the input gear and bearing go inside. So let's just do that now. Before I do that, I want a quick vape, something to drink. What I love about these builds is this is your own car. I mean, yeah, right, Tekno have made it, but but when you actually put it together, it's really nice to know you're the only person who's actually touched it. So it looks like the bigger bearing goes on the inside, like so. If the camera pick that up, there you go, as you can see. And then the smaller bearing goes, let's have a look. Yeah, so bearing goes into the case. Again, so you've got bearing each side. Then you go input gear inside the diff case, that goes through. Then you've got, by the looks on things, a shim which goes on like so. Very, very small shim, make sure you're careful with it. So that's on. Output drive. Are we adding thread lock? Yes, we are. Okay, so thread lock, which is here. And that little, now I just noticed that little grub screw is not, it's actually a 2.5, so that's nice that you're not going to strip that out. Little design key, I like it. Make sure it's nice and tight. Let's give that a little wipe because there is a little bit of excess thread lock on there. Might have a go at putting that a little bit tighter actually. So, little tip, obviously push your finger on the input gear and then slide that down the shaft a little bit better. There you go. Nice and tight. Okay, no play there. Lovely. The thread lock, I am going to turn upside down a sec. Okay, so what they're saying now, step 2 is so the front gearbox. Now remember in the last video guys, I do know which one is which because I've wrote on the front 100k. It does say they're actually putting your shims, 2 shims, on the opposite to the crown gear, which is not something I've ever done before actually, to be honest with you. I normally put it, so I'm going to go with the 2 shims. And then carefully slide that in. And shimmy it into place. Like so. It's actually quite tight with those shims in mine, flipping heck. So let's just try and shimmy it with my finger here. Careful not to bend the O-rings, not the O-rings, the shims guys. If anyone wants to know, lads, in fact I'll take one off to show you. We'll take them both off. Very, very thin. Okay. Christ, there is tight. Very, very tight. trying to get those O-rings in. Not O-rings, sorry, shim. I keep saying O-rings. Why am I saying O-rings? And not bend them. Side just seems like it needs to. Oh look, check fit man, maybe requires a check fit, add if needed. So it does say 2 shims, but I can't actually get 2 shims in there. So I am gonna go, let's see if I can take one off. And if that will allow me to pop it in there. It does say that it might not actually need it, mind. See, straight away. That's gone in lovely now. Okay. There's no side to side movement going on there, so I've got no issues with that. Is that in? Yeah, that's in. So we're going to save that 1 shim, I think, because I can't actually get 2 in there. Right. Grease. Let's put a little bit of grease on the gear, shall we? Small amount of black grease on the gears. Maybe a touch more. There you go. Gears are feeling lovely. Okay, right, next step, diff case. Place it on like that. Make sure again you're not pinching that shim. That one is in. Just struggling on this side a little bit. Gotta say, the gearing does feel really nice. I'm again struggling a little bit to get it seated. There you go. Is that it? There. Right. So be careful when obviously putting your diff in there. Especially when you're shimming. Like I say, I had to remove one there. Right, okay, so what are we talking? TRK 1525, which would be TRK 1525, which is that screw there. Happy days. And these are, by the looks on things, 2.5s. So we can speed up the process a little bit by using my electric driver. Okay, so that's that. Another sip of beer. Okay, step 3 is shock tower. Let's put the top cap on the black grease. Shock tower. So standoff goes like, and then we use the out. Which way do we go? Like so. And then we get one of the nuts. Okay, so I need a spanner and also a little Tamiya driver, that will help. Yeah, they'll fine. And right size. Yes. What size is this? 7mm. Oh, that's one. Okay, standoffs are on. All looking okay. And then we attach the, well, the looks on things. The diff onto. Where does that go? Like so. And with the standoffs facing outwards. There's one. And then I think I'm going to add just a touch more black grease actually on these gearing. That's better. Much better. Okay, just need to put this on the bottom of the diff case now. Like so. Looks good to me. Although I will say, I'm having a bit of a time with it, getting that piece of plastic in. Hopefully the screw will pull it in now. Right, let's get some of these tiny little screws. One gearbox case. Front differential is in. Gears are greased. Shock tower is on. Starting to take shape, guys. Quality is absolutely gorgeous. Right, I'm going to pause the video 2 seconds, guys. I'm going to build the rear up and we'll go from here. See you in a sec. Right, guys, so as you can see, that's the front and rear gearbox. This is the front. Alright, and this is the rear. So it will be like, hang on, let me get this right. It'll be like this. Obviously you can see his standoffs. So next up we're going to be doing, and I will say the diff action is smooth as a baby's bum. I'm trying to get the light here, but it's very, very, very smooth. No play at all. Something to note, the front diff I only use 1 shim. The rear diff I actually use 3. So it does, the shims that come with it, keep them, because obviously I did manage to fit a 3rd shim in here where it actually says only use 2, but there's no play at all there. It's nice and tight and everything feels really super smooth. Right, okay, so the next part is, and I think because I'm enjoying myself here, what we're going to do a second is we will move on to Baggy. Baggy, we will start seeing a bit of progress going on here because it's drive shafts, arms, everything else going together. And the idea is to start adding the parts on. And yeah, rear end assembly. Now, the funny thing to mention here as well is if you look at the diagram, I didn't even know this, but it uses CVDs front and rear, which I really, really like that. Obviously, a lot of my other cars actually use dog bones on the rear. But yeah, fair shout to Tekno, CVDs front and rear, and I like that. That's good. Right, guys, give me a second. I'm just going to get the bag out and basically set things up, and we'll go from there. Right, guys, got another top up. Moving on to Baggy. Okay, so let's see what we got in here. Looks like to be the hubs and obviously some shims. Now, one thing I will mention, guys, is get yourself a pair of side cutters. These will help when obviously you're removing the plastics off. So, for example, it's getting nice and tight against the plastic. Get yourself a pair of side cutters. So we got the hubs, some shims. Look at the arms, guys. Look at the webbing on the arms. And this is when you know that it's quality. Really, really nicely made. Does look like it's going to be quite strong, doesn't it? So that's the arms. And then we've got a load of hardware. What have we got? Pillow balls. Some screws. Some bearings. Hinge pins. Sorry, not hinge pins, they look to be, well, I'm not sure what they are yet, but we'll have a look at that in a moment. There's a little wash up there, so I'm going to keep that. Turnbuckles, CVDs, and hinge pin holders, and hinge pins, and some turnbuckles. Okay, so let's get this done then. Let's open up the packaging. So we're now going to be working on the rear of the car. Hinge pins feel, well, actually the hinge pins are really, let's just work out how wide that is. They're quite thick, mind, to be fair, for a small car. Looks about 6 mil, is that right? Yeah, 6 mil. So really quite thick. Turnbuckles. I love these turnbuckles. I've used them on other vehicles as well. Really, really strong. Hinge pin holders. Now it does look like these are composite, but I've been speaking to a few people. There's actually metal inside here, guys. They are reinforced, so that's nice. In fact, let's put that hardware there. Turnbuckles can go with there as well. Hinge pins can go with there. Bearings, that's unusual. They look like they've got a top hat to them as well. They're flanged bearings. So I like that. Should give you some nice fitment. Some screws, obviously. Now, one thing to mention. I believe this is a temporary screw. I have read about this. So you need to keep hold of that, guys. If you're wondering why there's a different colour screw to the rest of the black screws, keep that. We need the nuts in there. We're going to put the screws there. Pillow balls. Let's put them all in one place. Now, if you keep a inventory of all the bits you're putting together, it's going to make building a lot easier. I do apologise for taking my time here, but I want to make sure I get it right. Yeah, I've got some little washers as well, and there are some little set hexes in there as well. So it looks like you're going to be using some hexes and also some pins. Right, so we put the pins there on the magnetic tray, and then we'll also put them in there, and these two little hexes in there. And then in this bag, all the rubbish out of the way, we've got CVDs, some turnbuckle ends, looks like hexes. I'll put them over here. Well, I think that's it. Right, let's see which way you've got to go about this first, shall we? Okay, step one. So we need to put the arms and the hinge pin holders on. Let's put the arms on, shall we? So this is where the side cutters come into plan, guys. Make sure you cut them nice and tight. Should be about right. Some rubbish here. That's one arm. No problems there. One by there. Okay, so I need the rear diff case, which is this one, and we're going to be working from that back. There's a little bit of debris on top of there, so I'm just going to trim that off. Craft knife, make sure you're cutting away from yourself. So that goes on that side, and then this side goes on there. Right, okay. Hinge pin holders. So by the looks on things, this one goes to the rear of here, and we need two cap head screws, which are TKR 1445, which are those, and they go through here. And it's 2.5mm, like so. Again, same size screw. Right, and the reason why I pulse that driver, guys, okay, is so you're not warming up the plastics. Remember I said so you don't strip the threads in the last video? Okay, so that's one. We now need to add, by the looks on things, hinge pin holder, hinge pins. Yeah, that looks about right. Hinge pin like so. Right, okay. So that's at the rear. Hinge pin goes through. I will say hinge pins feel lovely on there. They don't bind in the slightest. Very impressed so far, guys. I'll be straight with you. Okay, so that's one. Unusual. This one's not going in. A little bit more. Okay, so that's level. Right. We need this to go on there. And then I believe that's where we use the temporary screw. Is that upside down? No, it does look about right. There you go. There you go. Right. Okay. So, arms are on. And then we use the temporary screw like so. Yeah, so what they could, if you, it actually says in the instructions here, it's a placeholder screw. And it was replaced by a longer M5 screw. Right, so that's actually in. As you can see, that's keeping it all in place, so you can build it. Excuse me, need to take a vape. So TRK, okay, so that's my droop screws there, so I need to get those in as well. And then repeat that for the other side. Now, your droop will be sorted out at the end, guys. So don't worry too much about getting them even. I normally tighten all the way up and then loosen off at the end of the build. There you go. Right, so that's step one done. Alright, arms, no play at all, everything seems nice. You want them to be able to move. If you've got binding, you've got issues. Okay, So that's that part done. Your next is your hub. So let me just check everything. So it's saying to put thread lock on the wheel hex. So right, okay, so I need my side cutters again. Whoop, a piece of plastic just shot off to the moon. I hope this video, I know, is a bit longer than usual, but I just wanted to take you along for the ride. I am enjoying myself, I'll be straight. And then get myself a scalpel. And just make sure you've removed any burr. Okay, so that seems fine. Right, drive shaft bearing. So bearing goes on like so, into the drive shaft, inside the hub. Is that right? Yeah. That goes in. That's actually shielded in here as well. I don't know whether the camera will pick that up. So that's in. Then you go bearing again. Like so. So that's not moving anyway. Then you go pin, and then should be hex, wheel hex. Just to note, guys, these are 12mm hexes as well. Place that in like that. Slide over the top, I believe. There you go, like so. Okay, and there are little, no, I get it now, these little hex screws are going to need a dab of Loctite. So it is a 1.5mm, there you go, yeah, tiny little screw. Little dab of Loctite. Just to lock your wheel hexes in place. There you go. Make sure you don't over tighten, because 1.5mm hex screws are an absolute nightmare for coming apart. So there's one. Okay, just going to make up the other one now. We'll be right back. Right, okay, so as you can see, I've now got the two hub assemblies all done, all locked in place. Nice to have CVDs on the rear. Metal hexes, everything is really good quality. There's no play at all. I can't sing his praises enough, guys, honestly. Right, let's move on now to actually putting them on the arms, shall we? What's next? So it's telling me shims. So you want one at the front. So the front would be, let's have a look. So front would be this way around, I believe. One there, and then we put, so they actually got a little guide there just to show you what shims to put where. So our shims, we need to get those off. There's 1, 2. So the 2mm are thicker. So we need 1, 2, 3. So we need a small one and a new one for the rear, and plus one for the front, like so. And then this bar needs to go through, like, and is mounting into. Let me get this right now. Let me get this right. So, one in, one at the front. That seems to be right. Yes. Okay. One through, then a washer, or shim. Wheelbase shims as they call them. And one goes in like so. And then we put 2 then on the other side. One thick one. Now, I'll be honest with you, doesn't seem like I'm getting a 0, then 0mm and 3 on the rear. Ah, that's where I've read it wrong. Okay, so you don't put one at the front. But the 2mm and the 1mm at the rear. Like so. So next up, I am putting the wheel nuts, the nuts on now. One each side. I can get it on. There's one. And there is 2. Like so. I need to tighten that up. Have I got another 5? Yes, I have. And then that goes in like that. Okay. So I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. Be back now. Right, okay, so as you can see, I've now got the 2 hub assemblies all done. All locked in place. Nice to have CVDs on the rear. Metal hexes, everything is in really good quality. There's no play at all. I can't sing his praises enough, guys, honestly. Right, let's move on now to actually putting them on the arms, shall we? What's next? So it's telling me shims. So you want one at the front. So the front would be, let's have a look. So front would be this way around, I believe. One there, and then we put. So they actually got a little guide there, just to show you what shims to put where. So So our shims, we need to get those off. There's 1, 2. So the 2mm are thicker. So we need 1, 2, 3. So we need a small one and a new one for the rear, and plus one for the front, like so. And then this bar needs to go through, like, and is mounting into. Let me get this right now. Let me get this right. So, one in, one at the front. That seems to be right. Yes. Okay. One through, then a washer, or shim. Wheelbase shims as they call them. And one goes in like so. And we put 2 then on the other side. One thick one. Now, I'll be honest with you, doesn't seem like I'm getting a 0mm and 3 on the rear. Ah, that's where I've read it wrong. Okay, so you don't put one at the front. But the 2mm and the 1mm at the rear. Like so. So next up, I am putting wheel nuts, the nuts on now. One each side. If I can get it on. Here's 1. And there is 2. Like so. I need to tighten that up. Have I got another 5? Yes, I have. And then that goes in like that. Okay. So I'm going to repeat the process on the other side. Be back now. Okay, so welcome back. As you can see, rear end, I've now got the hubs on, drive shafts in, CVDs, and we're now going to flip the page and basically tie up the rear end of the car now. Oh, hang on, wrong page. So essentially adding the turnbuckles on, and it does give you a diagram on how to do them. So you are going to need this part there. The actual size is there, so that's quite nice. And obviously the turnbuckle. Now this bit, guys, can be a little bit of a pain in the backside to do. It can hurt your hands. Take your time, and yeah, just take your time putting them on. So I'm going to knock these up now. I'm going to follow the instructions. The actual length of the turnbuckle, it gives you here 35.5 millimeters, and then what we're going to do then is add the turnbuckles onto the top of the hubs, tying into the rear shock tower. So I'll see you in a second. Right guys, so as you can see, I've got the one arm together now, the turnbuckle is together. Alright, so you do need to follow the screw positions and make sure you're adding the shims and the washers as they're going together. Now turnbuckles, one thing I want to talk about here is you're gonna need to basically follow whichever, because one side will be left and one side will be right-handed, e.g. anti-clockwise or clockwise. So it's a little bit hard to tell to start off, but if you just kind of feed one way or the other, hang on, we will grip in a second, and get yourself a pair of little adjustable pliers. If you're, there you go. So don't try and stress yourself over the turnbuckles, guys, because they can be a pain in the backside to get going. Like that, but it kind of feels like it's kind of right. I get myself a little adjustable spanner. Right, hold it, and then I want to kind of feed it on. There you go, and it will bite. All of a sudden it'll just bite into the plastic, because what you're essentially doing is cutting it a new thread. So, and then the other side should be anti-clockwise. There you go. It'll just start biting all of a sudden. So what I will do then, tighten down, get myself a little screwdriver like so, and just tighten it on. Try and keep it as straight as you possibly can. Once you've got it kind of going, there you go, there's one. And then the other one. Now, to measure your size, there's a handy little diagram on page 8, as you can see here, which we're not far off there, just a little bit more, one more turn. Oh, I think this side needs doing. Like so. Looks good to me. Right, get your pivot balls in. Again, I'm using just some tools I've got knocking about, because I'm waiting on some tools to turn up. Is get your pivot ball, place it inside. This can be a pain in the backside for some people. Alright, and all I'm doing is place this underneath, like so. And I'm biting down on top of there, and it'll literally just pop in, guys. Little set of pipe pliers. Ready? And that's it. Your pivot ball is sat inside quite nicely. No stress, no worries. And what I'm actually using here is a 7mm socket. It's the same one I would use to take off my wheels on something like a big rock. So if you just from argument's sake want to just adjust it slightly, all I tend to do then is just a little bit of a turn. There you go. Right, let's pop this onto the car. And tonight, guys, I think this will be it. So, following the diagram, we need screw going through. You're using the outermost hole on the hub there, making sure that this curvature is facing upwards. Screw through. All right. And the smaller nut out of the two sets of nuts, if you look, right, okay, one there, so the smaller one we're using, which I believe is, I might have got it wrong, but it might be a 4.5mm. .5 hex driver. That's one. And then the screw we need, there is a little washer you need to encounter. So it goes on the back here. You're going for the innermost second hole. You put the washer in, this little washer there. Pivot ball on, nut on, like so. And then get your, again, T-wrench, and then do it up. Whoop. Not before I put my drive shaft in. We got some good progress today, guys. We really have. It's nice to just be able to chill, not really think about it too much, just enjoy the process and enjoy the build, really. I hope you're enjoying the footage. Now we got two sets of arms with drive shafts and turnbuckles. Easy peasy. What do you think, guys? All coming together quite nicely now, eh? Car is starting to take shape. Now, what I do tend to do here is actually add a little bit of droop back in. Oh, by the way. So when the chassis goes on now, the arms will actually be held up, and what you can do then when the chassis actually goes on there is adjust the droop downwards a little bit. Alright, but yeah, so that is today's, that was bag E. We're on to bag F now in the next video. I'm going to leave this here, guys. It is getting late. I hope you enjoyed the video. really enjoying the process, guys. Really enjoying the process. The build quality is absolutely top notch. Yeah, stay awesome, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure you check the box for more videos. Catch you later.